Congressman Scott Garrett is with us on Capitol Hill. Full disclosure, Congressman Garrett is my congressman, and I proudly suggest that he's with us today on Capitol Hill. Congressman, you voted no on Monday. What did you vote today?
I voted no today because the bill we had today is essentially the same bill as Monday. They added some bells and whistles. They added some extra spending that you've reported on, and we've been out there. Some people call it pork, earmarks, tax credits, whatever you want to call it on. Had nothing to do with the underlying bill, most of it. And so my vote stands.
Congressman, there's nothing in it that you would vote for. I mean, the basic of this plan is $700 billion. We go in and buy toxic waste from the banks. You don't approve of that. That's the basic of the plan. You wouldn't vote for that under any circumstances, right?
Right. Correct. There are some things in the bill that are good, that deal with the situation, like the raising of the limits on the FDIC, dealing with the mark-to-market and that sort of stuff. That was good. I wish they had done that in a standalone bill. They didn't. They didn't listen to us. The White House had their idea. Nancy Pelosi had her idea, which was the White House proposal, the buying up assets. And we have said, as you and I have talked about in the past, some other alternatives, wouldn't they please consider them? They said no.
Did you get a lot of arm twisting? Were there attempts to get you to change your vote by offering something for your congressional district?
For me, no. They knew that where I stood, and they knew where a number of us stood as far as asking them to consider some of these alternatives, to have a hearing on it, to bring in some experts, and to let's see which is the best alternative. They were not willing to give us that. Speaker Pelosi was not willing to even hear those things, essentially. So they knew that I was not looking for the proverbial bridge to nowhere in my district or some such thing, so they didn't even come for that.
Congressman, I am presuming that that whole group of so-called blue dog Democrats, a large chunk of Democrats in the House, they had largely voted no on Monday. Do you happen to know how many of them peeled off and voted yes today? Because some of them must have. I spoke to a couple of them in the elevator going up, and I said, where are you going on this? And they said, as they've done in the past, well, I guess I have to vote yes now. And my guess is the majority of the Blue Dogs voted yes, because the history for this year, for this term, the 110th Congress, is on day one they say we're going to stand as conservative Democrats, and on day two, when the vote actually comes down, they vote just like the rest of the Democrats. So my guess is a majority. It's over. Your side lost. What are you going to do now?
Right. Well, I always said, as I said on the floor just before the vote, I will try to remain optimistic that Secretary Paulson was correct and all of his projections are going to see the stock market soar today and the credit markets open tomorrow, broader, with the realization that Paulson's only going to be there for a couple months. Who knows it's going to be there? I try to remain optimistic, but realistically I know we're going to have to come back and revisit to address the underlying problems sometime in the future.
Congressman Scott Garrett, Republican, New Jersey, thank you very much indeed for joining us. We're expecting the President in 2 minutes. Speaker Nancy Pelosi is signing the bill as we speak. You can see her right there. That's a ceremonial function, of course. We're waiting for the President. Again, about a minute and a half. Jerry Seib is still with us, Wall Street Journal, Washington. Jerry, what do you make of these blue dog Democrats? A large group of them must have crossed the side to vote yes.